nuclear weapons disposal facility on Shadow Moses Island in Alaska's Fox Archipelago was attacked and captured by next-generation special forces being led by members of Foxhound. They are demanding that the government turn over the remains of Big Boss, and they say that if their demands are not met within 24 hours, they'll launch a nuclear weapon. You will have two mission objectives. First, you're to rescue DARPA Chief Donald Anderson and the President of Armstech, Kenneth Baker. Both are being held as hostages. Secondly, you're to investigate whether or not the terrorists have the ability to make a nuclear strike and stop them if they do.
What's the insertion method?
We'll approach the disposal facility by sub.
And then?
We'll launch a one-man SDV. After the SDV gets as close as it can, dispose of it. From there on, you'll have to swim. High-Tech Special Forces Unit Foxhound, your former unit, and one that I was the commander of.
So they're still around.
There are 6 members of Foxhound involved in this terrorist activity. Psycho Mantis, with his powerful psychic abilities. Sniper Wolf, the beautiful and deadly sharpshooter. Decoy Octopus, master of disguise. Vulcan Raven, giant and shaman. And Revolver Ocelot, specialist in interrogation and a formidable gunfighter. And finally, in charge of them, Foxhound squad leader, Liquid Snake.
Liquid Snake.
Mä veikkaan, että ruudun ei pitäisi olla punainen, tai punainen kuin musta. No?
The nuclear weapons disposal facility covers the whole island. I'll instruct you by codec after you reach your target.
Anyone going with me?
As always, this is a one-man sneaking mission.
Weapons and equipment OSP.
Yes. This is a top-secret black op. Don't expect any official support.
Alrighty then! Tervetuloa Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakesin pariin, minä olen Clouder. Ja joo, mun piti alun perin pelata PlayStation 1 versiota, mutta sitten mä päädyinkin tähän remakeen, koska no, mä en oo koskaan pelannut tätä varsinaista versiota läpi, vaikka mulla on tämä. Niin, en oo vaan jaksanut ikinä. En oo päässyt niin pitkälle. Mä oon aina pelannut vaan sitä vanhaa. Ja mä tiedän, että jengi on sitä mieltä, että tämä on oikeastaan huonompi versio. Koska ne on vetänyt kaikki ääninäyttelyt sun muut uusis tässä versiossa. Mutta se on paljon laadukkaampaa se ääninäyttely tässä. Kun tai ne äänitiedostot itsessään on tässä paljon laadukkaampia kuin siinä alkuperäisessä PlayStation 1 versiossa. Koska PlayStation 1 versiossa ne äänitti englanninkieliset dubit tyyliin jossain mökissä. Ja siellä oli huono sano nyt, akustiikka ja näin poispäin. Mutta tää on sitten taas GameCube, mikä oli samaa sukupolvea kuin PlayStation 2, joten totta kai ne halus vähän laadukkaampaa tavaraa tähän sitten mukaan. Mutta tämä ensimmäinen osa, tai varsinaisesti osa 0, tulee olemaan pelkästään näitä briefingejä. Tossa toi alkuintro jo tulikin. Ja mä pelaan tätä tosiaan emulaattorilla, koska mulla ei oo mitään capture cardia mun GameCubeen. Niin tää voi olla aika glitchinen, niin kuin toi alkuintro oli. Siitä puuttu pari ruutua. Ruutu ihan musta, mutta me voidaan kaikki kuvitella, että jotain jännää ja siistiä tapahtuu ja Snake pääsi siitä tilanteesta pois ihan päällikkönä. Ja äänen tasapainoa mä testasin ennen kuin mä aloitin tätä. Siinä meni varmaan 2-3 tuntia. Mä oon veivannut tätä nyt tässä näin päälle ja pois. Mut nyt mä uskon, että kaikki on reilassa silleen hyvin. Ja mitäs muuta? Niin. Tämä on osa 0 ja mä en tuu tässä jaksossa pelaamaan yhtään, me vaan katsotaan nämä briefingit. Joten, jos sä jo tiedät mitä tässä tapahtuu, tai et muuten vaan ole kiinnostunut tästä niinku varsinaisesta tarinasta, niin skippaa osa 1. Mut kaikille niille, ketkä on kiinnostunut, niin tervetuloa mukaan tsekkaamaan nämä briefingit tässä näin nyt sitten.
It's been a long time, Snake.
I should have known you were behind this, Colonel.
Snake, straight to the point as always.
What do you want from me?
I just invited you here so we could have a talk.
Invited? That's what you call sending armed soldiers after me?
Sorry if they were a little rough with you, but we've got a serious situation here. Only you can get us out of it.
Oh.
I'm retired from Foxhound. You're not my commander anymore, and I don't have to take orders from you or anyone else.
Holy shit.
You will take these orders. I know it.
Miten se zoomaa?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Who's this?
Dr. Naomi Hunter, the unit's chief medic, an expert in gene therapy.
Are you military?
No, civilian. I've been sent here from ATGC. Pleasure to meet you, Snake. Don't worry, this injection won't hurt a bit.
What's the shot for?
What's wrong? You don't like shots?
Snake, listen up. About 5 hours ago, an island in Alaska's Fox Archipelago called Shadow Moses Island was occupied by Special Ops soldiers.
What soldiers?
Next Generation Special Forces, led by members of Unit Foxhound. They've presented Washington with a single demand, and they say that if it isn't met, they'll launch a nuclear weapon.
A nuclear weapon?
I'm afraid so. You see, the island is the site of a secret nuclear weapons disposal facility.
Foxhound hijacking a nuclear weapon?
Now you understand how serious the situation is. You have 2 objectives. First, infiltrate the nuclear weapons disposal facility and rescue the 2 hostages. They are DARPA Chief Donald Anderson and Kenneth Baker, President of Armstech.
Those are some heavy-duty hostages.
Secondly, you're to investigate whether or not the terrorists have the ability to launch a nuclear strike and stop them if they do. Any questions, Snake?
Questions? I haven't even said whether I'd accept this mission.
Well, you can make up your mind after you hear more about the situation.
Okidoki. Joo. Yksi juttu, minkä mä unohdin mainita, on tämä ääni. Kyllä, se on hermoja raastava ja mua vituttaa, että näin käy, mutta se tulee tästä mun Xbox-ohjaimesta, jonka johto on vähän päässyt rispaantumaan tuosta juuresta, joten mulla voi yhtäkkiä lähteä niinku kaikki kontrolli ja ohjaan pois päältä ja sit mä oon silleen, ei vittu, game over, ja sit on Snake! Mut joo, ei sille voi mitään. Mä olen hankkimassa uutta, mutta tää nyt vielä toimii, niin miksei sitten saman tien pelata vaan tällä. Täällä on muuten kuuma. Herra jestas, ja nyt on yö. Yö, ikkuna auki. Kuuma. Ihan hikivirta. Herra jestas. Alright. Operation Outline. Infiltration Method. Ja mä otan taas vörppyä vissystä.
Tell me about the nuclear weapon disposal facility.
The disposal facility includes a hardened underground base. Even with our most advanced intelligence gathering equipment, we can't tell what's happening inside.
So, someone needs to penetrate, gather intelligence, and report back. Sounds like a spy movie. What's the insertion method?
Well, an air insertion is impossible.
Not with this storm going on.
We'll approach the disposal facility by sub.
Approach?
Yes, within a few miles of it. The facility is equipped with sonar detection capabilities. They'd be able to hear our engine or propeller noise.
And then?
We'll launch a one-man SDV.
Launch?
Same as a torpedo, only this has no propulsion device of its own. After the SDV gets as close as it can, dispose of it. From there on, you'll have to swim.
You want me to swim in sub-zero Alaskan water?
Don't worry. That suit represents the latest advances in polythermal technology. The nuclear weapons disposal facility covers the whole island. I'll instruct you by codec after you reach your target.
Anyone going with me?
As always, this is a one-man sneaking mission.
Weapons and equipment OSP.
Yes. This is a top-secret black op. Don't expect any official support.
Vai niin? Joo. Se, että mä pystyn vaihtamaan ja liikuttelemaan ja zoomaan kameraa, niin se on aika hieno homma. Siinä alkuperäisessä Pleikkari 1 versiossa tuommoista mahdollisuutta ei ollut, koska syistä. Ole hiljaa nyt, saatana! Turpa kiinni! Joo, tämmöstä se on joskus. Ja ääntä ei pidä pelkästään tää ohjaaja, vaan myös toi näppäimistö.
What's the time limit?
Kalusto hajoaa.
24 hours. They say they'll launch after 24 hours.
Do they say what the target will be?
So far, they haven't mentioned the target.
When did the countdown start?
5 hours ago.
Eli sillä on niinku, kun se pääsee paikan päälle, niin 18 tuntia aikaa. Person in charge of operation.
Colonel, who are you speaking for?
Hiljaa.
Naturally, I'm representing the US government.
So who's in supervisory control of this operation?
The President of the United States.
So there's a lot of crap hitting fans in the White House basement.
No, at this point they're still video conferencing with each other.
If that's a real nuclear warhead, shouldn't they issue a COG?
Not yet. The Secretary of Defense has operational control and is fully aware of the situation. After you infiltrate, if you determine they possess nuclear launch capabilities, a COG will be issued.
Well, If they haven't relocated to the nuclear shelter under Mount Washington, I suppose there isn't that much reason to worry. Yet. Is the National Security Agency in on this?
Yes, and so is the DIA, the Defense Intelligence Agency.
The DIA? I'm starting to get a bad feeling about this.
They'll be sending us some support.
We don't need desk jockeys. We need a nuclear weapons specialist.
Of course. A nuclear weapons specialist has already been assigned to us.
Ei vissiin vedetä tupakkaa. Toi on aika tyhmää. Typerä nainen. Snake ei saisi vetää kessua, saatana. Ihme touhu. Tu päiviräisen.
We need backup from a specialist. I'm just an amateur when it comes to nuclear weapons.
I know. That's why I've requested the assistance of a military analyst named Nastasha Romanenko. She'll be providing you backup by codec.
A female analyst?
She's built up an impressive record as an advisor for the Nuclear Emergency Search Team. Contact her if you have any questions. She's also an expert on high-tech weapons.
Where's she working from?
Her home in Los Angeles.
California? California's a lot different than this place.
Niin on. Mitä siinä on? Alaska ja Kalifornian välillä. Koko Yhdysvaltain ja pieni pätkä Kanadankin länsirannikkoa. Aika pitkä matka, semmonen mantereen verran.
Colonel, you're retired. Why are you involved in this?
Because there aren't many people who know Foxhound as well as I do.
Is that the only reason?
I've been soldiering for a long time. I don't know anything else. I guess even though I'm getting a little old, I still love to be in the field.
Colonel, you're a lousy liar. Tell me the real reason.
Okay, Snake. Sorry. I'll be frank. A person very dear to me is being held hostage.
Who is it?
My niece, Meryl.
Jep, tästä tulee aika paljon niinku samaa infoa samaa infoa mitä tossa alkudemossa tuli. Siinä alkudemossa on osa näistä pieniä katkelmia tästä briefingistä.
What was your niece doing there?
Several soldiers were reported missing the day of the revolt, and my niece was one of those called in as an emergency replacement.
She looks like you.
She's my little brother's girl. He died in the Gulf War, and since then I've been watching after her.
A personal motive, Colonel. That's not very soldierly.
I'm retired. I'm just an old man now. And I'm your friend.
Since when are we friends?
I've thought of us as friends since the fall of Zanzibar land.
Haven't you had enough of a moody bastard like me?
No. That's the part of you I trust. Please, Snake. Save my niece, Meryl.
All right. But I have 2 conditions.
Name them.
1. No more secrets between us. I want complete disclosure at all times. And 2, I'll only accept orders directly from you, Colonel. No cutoffs involved, okay?
Agreed. That's why I was called. But one thing.
What?
I'm not a colonel anymore. Just a retired old warhorse.
I understand, Colonel.
Veljekset kuin ilvekset. Kuuma. Shush. The fuck up.
That doctor, is she part of this operation too?
She was in charge of Foxhound's gene therapy. She knows more about those men than anyone else.
So, she's used to seeing men naked.
Make no mistake, I'm not a nurse, I'm a scientist.
By the way, what was that injection for?
It's a combination of nanomachines and an anti-freezing peptide so that your blood and other bodily fluids don't freeze, even at subarctic temperatures.
Nanomachines?
Not just one kind either. There are different types which will replenish the supply of adrenaline, nutrition, and sugar in your bloodstream.
Now I don't have to worry about food.
I also put some nootropics in there.
Say what?
Nootropics. A class of drugs which will help improve your mental functioning.
Uh-huh.
It'll make me smarter, huh? Anything else?
Yes. It's a type of stimulant. It'll keep you alert and responsive for 12 straight hours.
That was quite a cocktail. Anything else in there?
Those nanomachines will also keep your codex batteries charged up.
Shut the fuck up.
I guess I can call you when I'm ready to go on a diet.
You're welcome.
Okay. File 3. Detailed information. Näitä onkin paljon, mutta näissä ei pitäisi kestää hirveän kauan.
The chief of DARPA and the president of an arms manufacturing company. What business did they have at a nuclear weapons disposal facility?
The truth is that secret exercises were being conducted at the time the terrorist group attacked.
Must be extremely important exercises if those two were directly involved. Were they testing some kind of new advanced weapon?
I'm not privy to that information.
Do we know exactly where they're being held?
The DARPA chief has also been injected with a mini transmitter. As you get closer, you should be able to pick up his location on your radar.
Uh-huh. Okie doke. Nuclear weapons. My favorite kind.
Do they really have the ability to launch a nuclear missile?
They say they do. They even gave us the serial number of the warhead they plan to use.
Was the number confirmed?
I'm afraid so. At the very least, they've got their hands on a real nuclear warhead.
Isn't there some kind of safety device to prevent this type of terrorism?
Yes. Every missile and warhead in our arsenal is equipped with a PAL, which uses a discrete detonation code.
PAL?
Permissive Action Link. The safety control system built into all nuclear weapon systems. But even so, we can't rest easy.
Why not?
Because the DARPA chief knows the detonation code.
But even if they have a nuclear warhead, it must have been removed from its missile. All the missiles on these disposal sites are supposed to be dismantled. It's not that easy to get your hands on an ICBM.
That used to be true. But since the end of the Cold War, you can get anything if you can pay the money.
Okay. Mitä se Naomi teki siellä? Vissiin korjasi sukkahousuja tai jotain. Terrorist armament.
How well armed are these terrorists? I know there was an exercise going on at the time they revolted.
They're heavily armed, I'm afraid.
Ei mitään perusteroja.
What about their battle experience?
The 6 in charge are plenty tough. After all, they're foxhound people.
Hey, you're gonna make me blush.
The others are next generation special forces. They're not your average grunts either.
Okay. The terrorists demand.
So what exactly are they demanding?
A person's remains.
Remains?
That's right. To be more accurate, cell specimens which contain the individual's genetic information.
Snake.
Cell specimens? Why would they want that?
The terrorists need them. You see, these next-generation special forces have been strengthened through gene therapy.
Genes? Strengthened?
You've heard of the Human Genome Project. They've been mapping the human genome and they're nearly finished. Following up on this research, the military has been working towards identifying those genes which are responsible for making effective soldiers.
There are genes that do that?
Yes, and using gene therapy, they're able to transplant those genes into regular soldiers.
Gene therapy?
I'll explain this part. With gene therapy, it becomes easy to remove genes that cause sickness and disease, or, alternatively, to splice in additional genetic material.
In other words, we can overcome all sorts of genetic diseases and at the same time add genetic characteristics as desired.
Okay, and so if you knew what genes were responsible for making the perfect soldier, you could implant them in the same way, right?
Yes, we could.
But it all depends on being able to isolate and identify those soldier genes.
And in order to do that, it's helpful if you can study the genetic information of one of the greatest soldiers ever.
Okay. Kenenköhän jäännökset ne haluaa sitten saada?
One of the greatest soldiers ever.
The man they called the greatest warrior of the 20th century.
You don't mean Big Boss?
That's right. We've
Big
been working
Boss.
feverishly to identify the genes responsible for his incredible combat skill. So far, we've discovered about 60 of the so-called soldier genes.
No, Big Bossin kuva.
So his body was recovered after all.
Yes, and his cells have remained frozen in a cryochamber. His genetic information is a priceless treasure to mankind.
Priceless to the military, perhaps.
His body was burned severely, but it was possible to restore his DNA profile from just a single strand of his hair.
Oh, heck, it's like some kind of dinosaur theme park. And you're gonna put these genes into soldiers?
Yes, we'll use a process that I discovered called gene targeting. The strongest soldiers don't become what they are by acquiring their skills through training or experience. We now know that hereditary factors are far more crucial for creating superior soldiers.
Snake, we can't hand over his body. It's more strategically important than any weapon of mass destruction.
I hear the terrorists are calling themselves the Sons of Big Boss.
Dun dun dun.
The Sons of Big Boss.
alusta 4 vuotta myöhemmin, niin ollaankin sit jo The Sons of Liberty. Next Generation Special Forces Unit.
Tell me about these next generation special forces.
They started out as an anti-terrorist special ops unit made up of former members of biochem units, technical escort units, and the nuclear emergency search team. Their purpose was to respond to threats involving next-generation weapons of mass destruction, including NBC weapons.
Until they were added, that is.
Who's they?
These guys didn't start out as regular army.
Looks like a pretty international group. Mercenaries?
Yeah, and it gets worse. Most of them were from a merc agency that I think you're familiar with. They were part of Big Boss's private guard. And after Big Boss went down, the military just bought out all their contracts.
Outer heaven.
After that, they were merged with our own VR unit Force 21 and retrained. If you ask me, these so-called next-generation special forces should be called simulated soldiers. They have no real battle experience.
Soldiers of the video game generation, huh?
Don't forget they've all been strengthened with gene therapy. They carry genes which make them excellent soldiers. Don't get careless just because they don't have much experience.
I thought international law banned the military use of genetic therapy.
Yes, but those are just declarations, not actual treaties.
The interesting thing is that nearly every member of the unit conspired in this attack.
Aivan joka ikinen, ainakin melkein. Fuck you! The reason for anonymous unanimous approval. Anonymous. Melkein anonymous, mutta ei niinku ihan. Anonymous.
How can an entire unit
Anonymous.
be subverted to rebellion?
They're calling it a revolution.
Since they all went through the same gene therapy, they probably felt closer than brothers. They see the unit as their only family.
The sons of Big Boss. But if they were regular army, they must have been interviewed periodically by army counselors.
According to their files, they all got straight A's on their psychological tests. They all seemed like fine, upstanding, patriotic soldiers.
But they all took part in the uprising?
No. Several people didn't show up on the day of the exercise. That's why there was a resupply of troops.
Was there any sign recently that something might be wrong?
There was a report a month ago that they were acting strangely.
Apparently they consulted classified information about the soldier genes and performed their own gene therapy experiments.
They can do that, even without you?
Well, our gene therapy process is almost completely automated. And besides that, they're all geniuses with IQs over 180.
What the fuck?
Even the existence of
Normaali
this
ihmisen
genome army is a
älykkyysmäärä
national
joku,
secret of the highest order.
mitä,
We had been
120.
hoping to investigate this thing quietly and deal with it behind closed doors.
Ihan nätti. Ihan näppärää.
High-Tech Special Forces Unit Foxhound, your former unit, and one that I was the commander of. An elite group combining firepower and expertise. They're every bit as good as when I was commanding them.
So they're still around.
There are 6 members of Foxhound involved in this terrorist activity. Psycho Mantis, with his powerful psychic abilities. Sniper Wolf, the beautiful and deadly sharpshooter. Decoy Octopus, master of disguise. Vulcan Raven, giant and shaman. And Revolver Ocelot, specialist in interrogation and a formidable gunfighter.
Right.
Sounds like a bunch of cartoon characters.
And finally, in charge of them, Foxhound Squad Leader, Liquid Snake.
Liquid Snake?
Yes, and you're the only person who can stand against him.
Liquid Snake. Dun dun dun.
Liquid Snake?
Liquid Snake, the man who shares your code name, the solid versus the liquid.
Tell me what you know.
He fought in the Gulf War as a teenager, the youngest person in the SAS. His job was to track down and destroy mobile Scud missile launching platforms. You were there too, I believe. Didn't you infiltrate Western Iraq with a platoon of Green Berets?
I was just a kid myself back then.
The details are classified, but it seems that originally he penetrated the Middle East as a sleeper for the SIS.
He was a spy for the British Secret Intelligence Service?
But he never once showed his face in Century House. He was taken prisoner in Iraq, and after that there was no trace of him for several years. After you retired, he was rescued and became a member of Foxhound.
I thought that by the time I left, they were no longer using code names.
I don't know his real name. That information is so highly classified that even I can't look at it. Here's a photo of him. Pretty shocking, huh? His skin tone is different, but otherwise, you two are exact duplicates.
I have a twin?
I don't know the
Dun,
details,
dun,
but
dun.
it seems so. That's why we really need you for this mission.
You're the only one who can beat him. Now that I've met you, I know. You've got something that he doesn't.
Why don't I find that thought more comforting?
Right. Nyt ollaan katsottu kaikki läpi. Sitten on vielä yksi pätkä.
I need to borrow your scissors.
What are you going to do?
Don't worry. Just gonna clean myself up a little.
Huh?
I don't want to be mistaken for the leader of the terrorists.
Kaveri parturoi itseään. Keittiösaksilla. Alright. Siinähän se sitten meni briefingit silleen kivasti tossa noin, niin joo. Me nähdään seuraavassa videossa. See you soon.